Welcome to the Community College of Rhode Island. It's a pleasure to welcome everyone here, and more importantly, to discuss the pathways to advance career education, which has become known as PACE. And particularly, I want to thank Congressman Langevin and Senator Whitehouse for hosting this event today, and most importantly, for their return visit to the Community College of Rhode Island. They are constant supporters. The reason this state is doing as well as it is, and the reason we have grants like this to help Rhode Islanders, is because of our congressmen and our senators. So personally, on behalf of the Community College of Rhode Island and as the president of this college, it is always a wonderful sight to see the both of you come here. So thank you both for being back here.
You're most welcome, Ray.
Great to be back. And we have my dear friend and the new executive director. I say new because he's still somewhat new at doing the Rhode Island Department of Labor and Training. Charlie Fogarty is here with us, and Charlie will be making some comments in a minute. And to my right, which is your left, we have Kathy Shields, who is a dear friend and colleague in helping our state get stronger, the executive director of Tech Collective. And Mike Peruto and I have been involved with many aspects of healthcare over the many years and doing good work, but he's the Director of Workforce Development and Human Resources for Care New England. And Michael, thank you. You'll be hearing from them as well. So the PACE program, and thank you all for coming. The PACE program is funded through a 3-year, $3.4 million federal grant. It's the largest in the college's history and will produce, most importantly, a pathway to career ladders in expanding the industries of healthcare and information technology for 600 trade-eligible displaced workers, veterans, and other unemployed Rhode Island workers. CCRI was one of just 33 community colleges in the country to receive these funds in the Department of Labor's effort to coordinate workers' abilities with the skills that employers are demanding. And again, I'm going to continue to emphasize, because of the leadership in Congress, that's why this grant and why we were one of the first to get it, because of the importance to bring it to Rhode Island and the importance and leadership of our congressman and our senator. And this grant would not have been possible without the partnership, and this is very important because partnerships don't always happen like this, where the federal, state, education, and business leaders all work together. And they were all brought around the table to work together to say, what is in the best interest? This wasn't just a grant for the Community College of Rhode Island. It was a grant for the state of Rhode Island, and that's what's very critical. In working together to narrow what we often hear is the state's skill gap by training Rhode Islanders for high-demand jobs, and that's what this is all about. And clearly, one of those partners in all of this has been our dear Senator Sheldon Whitehouse, who has made job creation in the economy two of his top priorities. And it is indeed a pleasure for me to introduce to you today Senator Whitehouse. Senator, thank you for being here.
Thank you, Ray. It's very good to be back again, and it's good to have the chance to join in acknowledging and celebrating and trying to bring attention to the programs that you are running here. I am very conscious in being here that I am in the presence of my senior member in the delegation, Congressman Jim Langevin, who has been relentlessly dedicated to workforce training and job creation initiatives in his district and with you in a wide variety of areas. This is only one, so I want to take just a moment to applaud Jim's relentless leadership in this area. One of the things that I think is very valuable about this PACE program is that instead of just giving people the valuable opportunity to get a degree or a certificate and then go out into the job market, here, this partnership that you described helps make sure that the areas in which they're being trained are areas in which there is active hiring, and in fact, working with the business community to begin placement activities from an early stage so that people aren't just training to a certificate or training to a degree, they're actually training to a job and training to a career. There's particular focus in this program on areas that are very important to Rhode Island and to our future. Healthcare is a big hiring area, lots of technical growth opportunities for employment. Information technology continues to expand. and an area that Congressman Langevin and I are particularly focused on both in Washington and here within the information technology sphere is cyber security and making sure that we have those resources. We're working on a piece of legislation in the Senate right now, and I think that once that legislation passes, it will put a lot more attention within our companies onto making sure that their cybersecurity is protected. And one of the things I hear wherever I go, at top-level meetings in Washington and dealing with local businesses here in Rhode Island, is that, particularly in the cyber area, it's hard to find a trained workforce. And so there's going to be, I think, a lot of opportunity for take-up. The most important thing happening in Rhode Island right now is our unemployment level. And we have got to get that down, and programs like this to train people not just for a degree but for a career really help with that. So I'm delighted to be with you. I'm delighted to be with my senior member of the delegation, Congressman Langevin. Delighted to join my old friend and colleague in government, Charlie Fogarty, and great to be, Kathy and Michael, with you again. So thank you very much for doing what you're doing, and we are very keen to support it and bring attention to it.
Thank you. Congressman Langevin actually was the creator of this event today and the importance of it. And I can't thank the both of them enough, because as we jumpstart this, we want to get the word out to the communities about how important it is, and for those eligible workers out there, that this program is about to begin. And Congressman Langevin, you know, since the day you sent me to Washington to that important conference on jobs, and I'll never forget the experience, where I was with 100 other business leaders and the only college president to be in the room. You have been dedicated to Rhode Island. You've been dedicated to creating jobs in this state. And most importantly, it's not talk, it's action. And today it's another one of those actions plans with real money, real people. And we're going to introduce to you in a minute the team that's we've hired, and we think it's an outstanding team that's going to deliver these services to 600 Rhode Islanders and get them back to work. So on behalf of all of us, thank you, welcome, and it's just great to have a great friend like you in Congress. Thank you for being here.
Mr. President, thank you very much for the kind words of the introduction and for helping us to organize this event today. You have been an incredible partner in this effort to get Rhode Islanders back to work, turn this economy back around, close our skills gap in our state. I'm so proud of the work that you and CCRI are doing here, and thank you for working with us to organize this event. And let me especially recognize to my colleague in the Congress, Senator Whitehouse. He too obviously has been a tireless advocate, leaving no stone unturned to do what we need to do to fix this economy. None of us are satisfied as to where we are right now. When we have an 11% unemployment rate, the skills gap in Rhode Island, it means that we have to redouble our efforts to close that gap, get that unemployment rate down. We want to leave no stone unturned. Senator Whitehouse is committed and energetic advocate of our state's priorities on the economy, priorities in the Senate, and I want to thank him and his staff as well for helping us to organize this event. So thank you, Sheldon.
My pleasure, Jim.
Let me say that obviously I'm very pleased to be here today to announce the Pathways to Advanced Career Education, PACE program here at CCRI, which was made possible by a $3.4 million Department of Labor grant and community partnerships here in Rhode Island. I especially, again, want to recognize and thank President Pasquale. He's been, again, a tireless advocate and a partner in this effort. And we also recognize Kathy and Michael, who are here today. I know we're going to hear from them in just a few minutes, and obviously Charlie Fogarty, who's leading the charge at the Department of Labor and Training to get people back to work. So thank them for all of their contributions and their efforts. And I'll also recognize, I know we're going to hear, maybe we'll introduce them a little later, but Robin Smith, the Associate Vice President for Center for Workforce and Community Education, and again for her contributions to CCRI's successful grant application. And lastly, again to thank the faculty and the counselors who are helping Rhode Islanders find a way forward. Without them, obviously we would not be here today. So during these tough economic times in our state, I've been absolutely inspired by the proactive thinking and creative opportunities that have come out of the public-private partnerships like this one. The PACE program is a great example of how we can leverage federal grants, such as the Community College and Career Training Grant, with state resources and partnerships, which is so important, I believe, to addressing the funding shortfalls and the underlying skills gap that we have both here in Rhode Island and at the national level. As co-chair of the Career and Technical Education Caucus in the Congress, I recognize that our workers need the skills businesses are seeking in order to give our state and our country an innovative edge and fill jobs of the 21st century. And these jobs are going to be here to stay, and we obviously need to be prepared both now and in the future to fill those jobs if we want to remain competitive. While there is no one magic solution to our economic challenges, improving workforce development obviously has to be a key component of our strategy. In visits to businesses both here in Rhode Island, I repeatedly hear that they are struggling right now to fill the openings because applicants lack necessary skills to do the job. So earlier this year, one of the things that I've done is kicked off my Rhode Island Skilled Economies Tour, or I call it my RISE Tour, to advocate for initiatives and create partnerships that will help employers find skilled workers that fit the needs of expanding industries. My tour has taken me to schools, job training facilities, and businesses seeking better ways to close our skills gap and strengthen our economy. CCRI's initiative is certainly no exception to that effort, in fact, leading the way. Now, by focusing on healthcare and information technology, the PACE program is training Rhode Islanders for high-demand jobs with high potential for career growth. I know that we'll hear from, again, both Kathy and Mike a little bit later on how these sectors are providing rewarding career paths for Rhode Islanders, but I can tell you that our projected workforce shortages in healthcare and IT are very real. It's particularly important that both Senator Whitehouse and Charlie Fogarty, of course, are here. Sheldon, as you know, when he was Attorney General, created the Quality Institute. In many ways, Sheldon is probably, might say, the father of electronic medical records in Rhode Island. And as he spoke also about cybersecurity, another priority for he and I in the Congress. In both of those IT fields, we need skilled workers to do those jobs. People being able to, expanding our IT efforts in healthcare in particular are going to be what's going to make healthcare reform work. And whether or not we hope, of course, that it survives the Supreme Court challenge, but irrespective of how the court rules, electronic medical records and reducing medical errors and giving easy access to medical tests for doctors to look at and avoid duplication of tests are going to be vitally important going forward. And again, having people that can manage that information technology is essential to successful healthcare reform and controlling costs. And again, cybersecurity, as Sheldon mentioned, is such a critical national security challenge and threat, and we are not nearly prepared with enough people to do those jobs. So we're closing the gap. We're making a difference in these fields. Healthcare, again, the nursing shortage we all know about, and other healthcare professionals. All of these things are vitally important, and again, will provide good-paying jobs both now and in the future. With the PACE program, local businesses will gain a new set of workers who fit these demands. As President Pasquale outlined his remarks, you can't ask for a more efficient program. That goes for the students who can complete the targeted training that's most beneficial to them without going through a 2 to 4 year training program. And it goes for the companies in these industries that need talented employees and can seek out these graduates. For anyone who is unemployed or knows someone who is unemployed and has an interest in the healthcare career or working with computers, this is a tremendous opportunity, especially if you have been away from school for a while. Moving forward, we obviously have to continue to build upon programs like this, encouraging cooperation among businesses, educational institutions, and our government agencies, creating a talented and skilled workforce, and also creating jobs that will keep these workers and students in our communities. That's another thing that I get concerned about, students graduating from educational programs and then not being able to find jobs and being able to stay here in Rhode Island. We obviously have to turn that around, and this program is working to do that. It's obviously truly an honor to represent a state that has such exceptional partnerships. It's this type of cooperation and coordination that will ensure our state is a leader in education efforts as well as in career and workforce development. To all of the students who are here today, let me just say this, that I have confidence in the future of our state and in our country, because I'm confident in your abilities to lead us all. And I really do believe that you are the the problem solvers, the innovators, and the job creators of tomorrow. I encourage Rhode Islanders that are looking for a new career to look at what PACE has to offer, and it's a real privilege to be with all of you today, and I'll turn it back over to President Pasquale.
Thank you, Congressman Langevin. And your remarks are spot on that as the numbers of the unemployed remain in double digits, and there are those predicting, Charlie, for you that they will remain in double digits through the remainder of this decade, means that we have to find ways to create jobs and opportunities, and to do it in a much quicker fashion than we have with traditional education, and I think this program does that. But Charlie is a tireless advocate to have education programs be part of the labor solution, and he's been charged with overseeing labor in the last year and a half and has done a terrific job and is no stranger to government. So Charlie, on behalf of all of us, thank you for your good work and welcome to the community college, and thank you for your support.
Thank you, Mr. President, and on behalf of Governor Chafee, to acknowledge the hard work of both Senator Whitehouse, Congressman Langevin, all of the folks here at the community college under your leadership, Mr. President, who have ensured that this grant not only was awarded, but also is going to be put to good use. As Director of Labor and Training over the last year and a half, I haven't always had the opportunity to go to a lot of events announcing good news, so it's always nice when we have some success, because I think all of us recognize the great potential of this state, and all of us are committed to making sure we realize that. And we talk about collaboration and cooperation and partnership, and everybody has used those words, and those aren't really words. That's really, I think, a commitment to an approach that from the top down and from the bottom up that everybody is taking. And it's an approach that we believe is going to deliver significant and positive results, not just to the broad economy in Rhode Island, but to individuals. And that's what it's all about, individuals in the workforce where they can support their family and contribute to the economy. I think two tenets of workforce development that we all know is that they really have to address the real needs of businesses in the state, and that they must be ongoing. This is skill building is a lifelong and cumulative process, and the PACE program is designed to help achieve that. And we know that one size does not fit all. For some, one track will be the traditional four-year college and beyond to advanced degrees. For others, it might be an associate's degree that provides critical training in a shorter amount of time but still confers a college degree. For others, another track will be short-term certificate programs addressing specific industry needs that can be more flexible and more timely. And another is on-the-job training, which takes place in many forms, such as OJT grants, apprenticeship programs, incumbent worker training, which we announced yesterday, about $1.4 million in grants to almost 100 businesses in Rhode Island. And these career pathways are very, very important. Currently, the Governor's Workforce Board, which falls into the DLT, has been working with the Department of Education, our Office of Higher Education, our industry partners, some of whom are here today, to articulate some of these pathways, particularly in healthcare and IT fields. These are the same areas that PACE is focused on, and we believe we can leverage that existing work and build upon it in very targeted ways. And while our education partners work on building this robust educational offering in IT and healthcare, we at DLT are going to work on connecting unemployed manufacturing workers to those pathways through our existing intake system known as the Network Rhode Island, those one-stops located throughout the state. Our career counselors will be referring interested members of the PACE targeted audience, particularly our veterans, to CCRI, creating a feeder program or on-ramp to those services, which we know will be very important to them. And then finally, I just want to mention that last week, the Department of Labor and Training received a separate but related $2.8 million workforce innovation grant from the U.S. Department of Labor. And again, I want to thank both Congressman Langevin and Senator Whitehouse. I think we've been on the phone almost every week about all the grant applications we've gotten. So far, we've gotten 2 for 2. We're hoping that continues down the road. But this innovative workforce will help us test career pathway counseling in our one-stops. And if you see a pattern here, you're correct. We are all committed to aligning our resources and strategies that we have in career pathways towards high-growth industries, so that we not only get people back to work, but more importantly, help them move up the career ladder. We want to have people look at things as a career, not just as a job, and recognize that lifelong learning is critical no matter what path you do choose. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Charlie. And I think one of the key elements as we go forward is true partnerships, because we can no longer do this isolated. The community college cannot offer a program without vetting it out through the industry to make sure that it's doable.